Hi, this is Linda and Aaron with Traveling Flamingo, and we did cruise with our little one, and we learned a lot. We are here to tell you everything you need to know because you can cruise with them. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot to pack and a lot to prepare. So we're going to give you all the tips so that you can be prepared for your cruise with your little one.
So first step, before you book, you want to make sure that your child is 6 months or older, because that's the minimum age for just about every cruise line out there. So if your kid's less than 6 months, you won't be able to cruise. After 6 months, you will be let on to the majority of cruise lines that are out there. You will want to make sure that you have whatever is recommended by your physicians or whatever you're comfortable with in terms of medical support for your child. And you'll also want to identify how long of a cruise do you want to go on? What are the ports? What's your itinerary? Is it going to be hot? Things like that. So those are real big questions that you'll have to answer for yourselves. But technically speaking, you're able to go on a cruise as of 6 months with a child. And from there on, it's your determination as a parent as to, do you want a longer cruise, a shorter cruise? Is it a hot cruise? How are you managing those things? So those are things that we can get into later.
Yes, our little one was 7 months for their first cruise, but we did meet somebody who had the 6 months and 1 day mark. So just make sure you do know that for your cruise.
We thought that was a risk because you never quite know what day that was.
Yeah, the born day. Yeah. Something else to keep in mind is how cruise lines friendly they are to babies, or how baby friendly cruise lines are. That would be the better way of wording that. So we found so far have been pretty good. Of course, Disney, definitely lots of kids are not going to be the only one on there. Royal Caribbean, also very good. Other cruise lines, Princess can be hit or miss depending. Norwegian, we were really impressed with Cunard. Mm-hmm. So just have a look in. It's also depending on your kid. Our little guy is really chill and happy and likes to smile and wave. So we were welcome in every area we've been in on the ship. But do keep that in mind. Some do lean towards being more family friendly than others.
Yeah, for sure.
Something else to keep in mind, I'm sure has been in the headlines a lot, is safety. We are tall people. When we hold our little one up in our arms, he is over the rail. So keep that in mind. I know on Cunard, the ship we were on, there were huge spaces between the railing on the balcony. And as people got to know us, they expressed concern. And of course, we didn't even let him try and walk out there. Like if we were outside, he was in the stroller. Like forget even holding our hands. Like he's quick. I think he's going to be a football player if he dodged around. That would be a problem. So definitely keep that in mind. Like you're on a trip and you're having a wonderful time. But if you're holding your little one or anything, like safety doesn't take a vacation.
Next is cabin type. So, you have your usual cabin options as you do on any other cruise. I think the question for you is, do you want more space? Space is really important, especially with a little one, because they're going to require their crib. And those do take up space, so you're going to want to make sure that you have some ability to walk around. Also the bathroom, because what might happen is, depending on what the orientation of the room is, you very well might have a hallway, then the bed at the door to a balcony or wherever. And then you have to put the kid next to the bathroom. So if you're trying to go to the bathroom at night, you're going to be walking by your kid, which could create some problems.
Excuse me, allergies.
So in the end, you might want to decide, like, how is your stateroom being organized so that it's easiest for the kid. We found that having our little guy by the sliding door to the balcony wasn't too bad. Of course, there's a child lock on them, so he's not able to open it. But just making sure he was there, because then we could get easier access to the bathroom or the door, so we could sneak out. One of us could sneak out to get food for the other one, or teas or coffees or what have you.
Yeah, and I think knowing what you're comfortable with, we only had one little one with us, so having a balcony, knowing that we won't have him near the side, he wasn't, climbing on chairs, tables kind of thing, still in a pack and play, so that worked well for us. And it was nice to have a balcony because when he was napping, we were able to get out there. So definitely just choosing what's going to work best for you and your family. And if you got the money for Suite Life, that would be great, but that wasn't in our budget.
Yeah.
So now you've booked and you're considering packing, there are definitely some essentials you'll want to make sure you bring with you. Having enough diapers, the diapers you want, we always like to pack a few extra because it always happens when you put on a clean diaper that they go poop and you need a new one. So having that. Also having enough wipes. They're very hard to get diapers and wipes on board. We did meet a family that were very low, and so we had extras and gave them some of ours, but you can sometimes get them in the store. But again, depending your ports, how many potty ports. It's just, those are things you don't want to run out of.
Yeah.
So making sure you've got enough diapers and wipes that you're set for your trip would be probably the least stressful way to go about that. The other thing is making sure you've got enough formula or whatever you need for breastfeeding bottles, or same with the formula, like whatever you need for feeding your baby at that age, if they are still being breastfed or on formula. I was breastfeeding, and I actually didn't have a problem with that on the ship. Even if we were out and about, and especially when it's hot, we were really sticking to every 3 hours. And so sometimes I was just off in the little corner on the pool deck, and I didn't have a problem from anybody around doing that either. So again, whatever you're comfortable with, but make sure you do have all that packed. If you need pumps or whatever that is, those are definitely high priorities on your packing list.
And the charging for the pumps, if you have those types. In terms of baby food, you want to be sure that you bring on board anything that you know your kid wants, especially for the first day, because the first day can be pretty busy. On board while we were there, they were great at dietary restrictions. Our little one couldn't have salt, some other medical issues, and couldn't have salt. And so they were very great at supporting that. And everywhere we went, in the dining rooms on several different cruise lines, they were all very happy to support any dietary restrictions that we had, and we never had a problem. But do make sure that you have whatever snacks you might need, and of course other kids might have other dietary restrictions, so I can't speak to everything, but at least for salt and so forth, they were really good.
Yeah, it's nice to have snacks for their meals in between. Like, our little guy was eating 5 times a day for one of our cruises, so 3 snacks, 2 meals. We weren't eating that often, so having that. We also did bring Tupperware containers in the little fridge in the room, so
yeah, it was very
you
handy.
can have some stuff for later, or if they're waking up early in the morning, you want to have something right away. So that's also another little tip. You can sometimes get stuff from the buffet.
Room service too is an important one, because you could get it delivered to your cabin. Again, talking about space, TBD on how big your cabin is, but that was handy because you could get food delivered to you. Lastly, medications. If there's any medications that you need for yourself or your kids, just in general, keep them with you and make sure that you bring them on board with you, as opposed to waiting for that stuff to get delivered.
So another essential I would actually add on are some toys. You might have downtime when you're in your room. You may have time on travel days having a few toys. We did find our little one loved Aaron's wash bag and carried it around like a little suitcase, and that was the best toy we had. So you don't need to overpack them. They're very creative in what they have in their space, and there's so much of the ship to explore, and we loved exploring the ship. And as we said, our little one is pretty social, so waving and smiling at everybody, and we could go and actually enjoy a cup of coffee, and he was happy just looking and waving around. So you know what your little one needs the most. We found we didn't need to overpack toys.
And just as a side note, you might be looking to see if there's going to be a picture of him. There will not be in this. We've made the decision that we will not be putting his picture in any of this. We're just giving you our experience. So you might be seeing some B-roll of other things. You will not see our kid. So one more thing, you will want to make sure that you call the cruise line, ensuring that you have a pack and play if you're going to use one. They have them on board, so you don't have to bring it, but you will want to make sure that's on your file. We tried several times, both showing the age of our child, also calling them, and a few other ways in comments to say that we needed a pack and play, and each time we did it, we weren't able to get one. We almost weren't able to get one. They weren't available in the room, and it took a long time talking with our room stew and or the rest of the cruise line in order to get it to our room. So highly suggest, if you're using one, call. Make sure it's on file.
Yeah, don't just assume knowing the age is going to do it.
Next thing is sleep sacks. If you're using one of those things, we used it for safety and consistency with our little one. If you're using one, absolutely bring them. You can. Additionally, baby monitors. Highly suggest that if you're using one, use them, but of course, stay in the same room with your child. Don't go roam around the ship, as there has been cases of that before. You can bring them, you can use them. Most cruise lines have not banned them, but stay with your kid, of course.
So tagging on to the sleep sack, as we talk about packing, in the diaper bag, we always like to also have extra clothing for a little one. And then I would always throw myself an extra shirt and even just shorts in. So I had something just in case those worst case scenarios. You definitely want to have them with you. The other thing we did bring are swimsuits and swim diapers. There are some little water areas, or maybe on one of your excursions. You don't want to be somewhere and not have it and wish you did. So definitely just throw in a couple swim diapers and the swimsuits. The other thing that we found helpful to pack is if we were packing in warmer climates, we have a portable fan that can go on the stroller, as well as those cooling blankets. And they worked great for our little one because it was super hot. He could have a cooling blanket over his legs, so he's protected from the sun, staying nice and cool, and the fan going. People were jealous. This little kid was going in style, okay? Staying nice and cool.
I wish I could half the time when I'm...
The other thing is we've also done some traveling in cooler climates, and layers are going to be your best friend. However you like to do that, but having some extra blankets or hat and gloves, depending the temperature you're going into. But layers we found were the best way. Actually, we got a dollar store blanket. Because that way we didn't care if it fell off or something happened to her, or we left it in the stroller and it got taken. Like, it didn't matter. Or if I did so much buying and everything that we couldn't bring it home, of course it ended up getting in the suitcase to come home. So just make sure you've got some layers there for the cooler climates. It's very helpful.
So now we're moving into what to expect on board. MDRs, our experience has always been great. Actually, not just MDRs, everywhere on board when it came to dining, including the buffets. They have high chairs. If you need high chairs, you'll be able to get one. We never had a problem finding a high chair on board. Just ask any of the crew that is working in that area, and they'll be able to get one for you. Dietary requirements, absolutely note those. Our little one was not able to have too much salt, so he was just dealing with some stuff, but he wasn't able to have salt, and they did a phenomenal job of making sure that everything that he had was salt-free and so forth. At one point, he had a giant steak, and everyone's like, is he going to eat it? He ate almost 3/4 of it. Anyways, they will absolutely help support whatever dietary requirements you have. Also, stuff like vegetables, we wanted them very soft, and they, of course, did that most of the time. So we never had a problem with anybody on board when it came to food and food requirements. Even in the buffet and so forth, you can ask the chefs that are available there. Depending on the cruise line, they will tell you what chef to look out for and sort of what they actually have little different colored tags as to who's doing what. And so, again, talk to them about it and they'll be able to support you.
Yeah, make sure you have your own bibs, and if there are utensils that your little one's using, that you've got those there, because we aren't getting a small, baby fork or spoon. But having those with us we found helpful. So another area to consider is napping when our little...
Is this for adults or the kids?
Sometimes we would all nap together. Now, when we started cruising and our little one was still having 2 naps a day, we did try and get one of those naps in the cabin. That just worked best for us and to keep our little one happy and enjoying his trip and our trip as well. But we did meet people who totally just abandon the nap schedule completely. He will fall asleep when he is tired. So you know what's going to work best for you and your little one. But just having some kind of plan in mind, as our little one got a little older and was only down to 1 nap a day, we actually just did it in the stroller. I could walk him around until he fell asleep, and we would find a quiet place on board and could sit in a lounge or somewhere in, like a library, and enjoyed, our coffee ourselves, and he just slept for an hour and a half or so.
The ability of a kid to nap in almost any circumstance has definitely surprised me. Like once we were at a sail away party and he just asleep.
That was enough for that day. That was enough. So definitely just talk with, who you're going with and your partner, and make sure that you've got an idea of what you want to do. Are these naps super important for you? How does your little one handle if naps are missed, or how are you going to make sure they happen?
So stroller, I think, is a really important component as well. Just remember they will be in the room with you, and you might want a travel one. You have to weigh the pros and cons of a travel one, the cost of a travel one, the one that you have at home, which one you're taking. There's a lot that happens when it comes to traveling with things like car seats and the stroller and everything else. Just be aware that you will have to put it in your room one way or another. And so it will take up space. And where are you going to put it? Because the rooms are fairly small, and we did invest in a travel stroller because we travel quite a bit, obviously. And so that worked a lot better than when we had the one before. So,
when our first cruise, we had the bigger stroller, and it just doesn't fold down all the way, and we're trying to maneuver. And we don't live the sweet life, so we do not have a separate area to be putting the stroller. So, as Aaron said, I think that's a good point. Be
aware. And not only that, they get warm. Like we had a fan for a stroller, as we said, but they do get hot, and a lot of the times there might not be circulation of air because you have the top down for nap time. consider those things. You want to make sure that there is a good circulation of air. It's not getting hot. You can even put temperature sensors in them these days if that's something you're interested in. So
That's next level travel.
something you might want to look into as well, depending on how old your kid is and how your comfortability is babysitting. They do have them on all of the major lines. I would probably say Disney's is probably the best when it comes to age groups, amount of time, etc., etc. But they have them on every cruise line that's out there. So think about that. They usually start at about 6 months.
Yeah, the nursery is around 6 months, but again, these book up fast.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them do cost extra, so keep that in mind. It's something you want to research if you are looking to have a kid-free meal or swim or afternoon, or you want to get to see a show. Just keep that in mind.
And if you're sailing Disney, the more you sail with Disney, the earlier you can book these things, which is, I think, how they really try to get you into their loyalty program. So you may want to consider 1 or 2 without a kid if you're planning on doing it with a kid in the future.
But the small world theme is so
It is
cute
beautiful.
in the nursery.
Yeah.
So in terms of port days, I know Aaron already said, as you're thinking about your cruise, how long do you want it, how many ports do you want to have? We did find we preferred self-guided things, stuff that we had a lot more flexibility with, walking around the port on your own. Maybe you're interested in more things walking distance. When we did do the excursions, you want to keep in mind, can you get a stroller on it? Is it friendly with that? Are you going to have a carrier? Just, there's all those extra things, like if you were going to do a day trip at home with your family, that you do need to consider. And so having that in mind, and we always like to leave extra time. I'd rather be early than late. They will not wait for you even though you have a little baby. So if it's missing the start time to start the excursion, or even coming back at the end, do make sure you're making those times so that you're not being left behind and then scrambling to try and get back to the cruise ship as well. But sometimes port days are great days to just enjoy the ship when it's a little bit quieter. So keep that in mind with you and your family, what you want to do. Packing your bag for the day is very important. We've already gone over sort of layers if it's cooler, but making sure you've got the sunscreen, the hat, the fan, the snacks, water, these are, you want to be able to enjoy your time too. And so the more prepared you are with all that stuff, the more happy your little one will be, and then you can be as well. So, having a little checklist, or as you start doing it more frequently, you're going to know what you need in your bag and you can easily prepare it.
So one final thing about rooms as well is adjoining rooms. So if you're traveling with a group, absolutely see if you can get adjoining rooms. They're a great way to create more space by having 2 different rooms. And also great for maybe a grandma, a grandpa, whoever might also be looking after the kid, and also gives you a place to sort of sit down and relax while your child's sleeping. If you can do it, do be aware though, different occupancy levels are assigned to different rooms. So you might have an issue if you've got a single person traveling with a group of 3, or you've got, 2 and 4 or something along those lines. Not all the rooms can hold the same number of people, and they do that for safety reasons. So do check that beforehand, but adjoining rooms is another great way to go.
So the question, can you cruise with a baby? Absolutely. It's going to take a little bit more planning. You might not be able to do quite as much stuff as you did before, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So many memories, all the videos we have of giggles, all the people we met and loved meeting our little one, waving and smiling. He's waving at people from across the dining room. It's like, who are you waving at, man?
You knew more people than we knew.
Oh, absolutely. So we were surprised at the different aspects that were fun. We are used to having fun this way, but now we're having fun in a different way, right? And creating memories in a different way. So you absolutely can. The crew are amazing. Other cruisers we met were amazing. We're hearing stories about other people's families and experiences. I just feel like it's opened a whole new cruising world to us, and it's really just so wonderful that we're able to be a part of it.
Yeah. So let us know what tips have you found? I'm sure you all know more than we probably do at this point. So let us know, what other tips have you heard? Put them in the comments below.
So what's your favorite cruising memory with your family? Please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you found this video helpful. Wishing you smooth sailings and happy travels.